Sam from United People's TV, here with Robbie from ArsenalFanTV. We're here to have a quick chat about the game. There was a game at the weekend. I'm not sure if anyone watched it. But
What game was that?
I don't know, it's just, yeah, right. We got absolutely smashed. The only way you can say is embarrassed. But I'm man enough to sit here and have a chat about it. You know, you can gloat. But he hasn't been gloating too much. I'll give it to him, but he's probably going to gloat.
You know what? I've got a lot of respect for you, man, because I'm surprised you asked me back. Honestly, I did. I thought, you'd be still hurting. So
I'm hurting.
I'm surprised you asked me back. After I told you last week, I warned you. I warned you about Theo. I warned you about Alexis.
No, it was Alexis.
I warned you about Mesut Ozil. As a matter of fact, everything you said on that show came back to haunt you. You told me about Damian.
Yeah,
He's probably the worst player on the pitch.
No, he wasn't. Wayne Rooney was the worst. Carry on.
Yeah, Rooney was terrible. I told you about Rooney in that show.
That's something I got right. I said it was going to be a consistent 3 out of 10, and he gave me a 3 out of 10.
I told you, calm down when it came to Martial.
Martial was probably probably our only positive from the game was Martial.
I told you about Theo Walcott when we was comparing him with Martial and that. I told you that you're underestimating this guy. He's a devastating player. That he scores goals, his ratio. Well, he didn't actually score in the game, but he was unbelievable.
I think
everything I said. That's why I'm surprised you've had me back, and that's why I respect him. I'm going to give him a lot of respect because it all came back to haunt you, man.
Yeah, it did. Something I really underestimated was how much we were going to miss Luke Shaw. Obviously, Sanchez was playing against Damian, so that's sure wouldn't have had anything to do with that. But I really feel that just not having Shaw there affected the whole shebang. And I'm not putting it down to one thing because there's I could go a host of things that went wrong with that game. I don't know why we were playing Schweinsteiger in a running role because he hasn't got the legs for that anymore. Everyone knows that. But he was chasing the tails of your midfielders the whole game. He can never get near the ball. So that's really annoying when you're chasing the ball as a kid. But the passes are always going away. So you just can't get it. And he was knackered by the end of it, unsurprisingly. And we had Carrick sitting. Why was Schneiderlin on a bench? I mean...
Yeah, but that would have been another holding midfielder. How many holding midfielders you can have?
Yeah, but...
That's another thing I said as well.
What? What else did you get right, Robbie? Come on.
I got everything right. The only thing I didn't get right, I think, was the scoreline, but I got everything else right. I mean, I said to you, I hope I'm not coming across too arrogant though, but I did say that I think we're a better team than you.
I think you're allowed to be arrogant at this point. Flip reverse
I did. I felt we're a better team. I did. Even when we were doing that combined 11, I gave you some players, but honestly, I still stand by it that I think that we're a better team. I've been more scared over the years of your team. Normally, when your team, even last year, I was scared. Because when I saw you,
Di Maria and Falcao.
Yeah, because these are world-class players.
Yeah.
We know Falcao ain't worked out, but when I saw the team sheet and you're like, Di Maria, Falcao, I think Van Persie was on the bench. I'm like,
I don't know if it was, but
I'm
ignoring you because our team now is much better than it was last year. As a team,
as a team, it's better, but there's no sort of standout world-class player. And then that guy that always gives us loads of trouble in Wayne Rooney. Oh, I don't know what's happened to him.
Wayne Rooney has got to be the most frustrating part of this entire season for United fans because he's your captain, he's who the players look to, and by the looks of it, Rooney says everything right off the pitch. He deals with the players well. He's got a great relationship with Van Gaal, but he's just playing crap.
So why not just pull him out for a bit?
Yeah, well,
pull him out for a bit.
Louis, if you're watching this, Robbie at one point in his life is speaking sense, all right?
Louis,
your
philosophy, pull him out for a bit. Let him have a little rest. Chill him out for a bit. The other player that I was really disappointed with, well, I say disappointed. I weren't disappointed because obviously I didn't want him to perform, but was kind of disappointed with how he performed as Memphis Depay. I mean, you guys spent a lot of money on him.
Yeah.
I thought he was very, very poor.
Money, ignore the money, man. These players, price tags, the players don't control the price tags. But Memphis has scored 3 goals in 4 games in the European games. But in the Premier League, he scored 1 against Sunderland. You could see like it was an out of...
I'll score against Sunderland.
Yeah, all right. You're going to play... We'll see when you play Sunderland. But Memphis is really struggling with the intensity of the Premier League. I think he's got massive expectations of himself. So I think the pressure is coming from his own belief in I should be able to score goals in this game. You saw it in his outpour relief when he scored against a crappy goal against Sunderland, but it just went in. Hopefully that was going to kick him on. Didn't happen. And something that really is going to affect Memphis this season is he's lost that Shaw partnership. They were great together, overlapping each other on the left, and you can't underestimate how big an influence that's going to have. He's got Rojo, who's injured. Ashley Young, was he playing? Was he right? Ashley Young was left back against you, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That's when you're playing two midfielders as part of your four-man defence against Arsenal. You're probably going to have issues.
Depay needs to concentrate on his football. Forget about the tattoos and stuff. You're not Drake. You know what I mean? You're a footballer.
Mate, he's a dream chaser. Just leave it.
You know, all these tattoos.
Nah, they're personal to him.
I don't know. You get the impression that, you know what I mean, he's more, you know, he's like a piece of chocolate. He's more, you know, he wants to eat himself. You know what I mean? Just concentrate on your game. Get your game right.
That's an interesting analogy you've got there. So
get your game right.
You want to eat Memphis? Is that what you're saying?
I don't want. But I'm saying, get Depay. Get your game right. Forget about the tattoos. You're not a hip hop artist. Your name's not Drake.
No, leave it out, right? His tattoos have nothing to do with him being a footballer, man. His dad left him as a kid, so getting him all
respect. I'm sure he's going to improve, but he had a poor game.
I think you can't look at that United team that played against you and point one person out for being bad. It was a collective poor performance. I thought Martial, from me watching, actually no, my biggest positive was James Wilson coming on at the end. He showed more in 10 minutes in his movement than Wayne Rooney did in 80. And I
didn't even remember Wilson touching the ball. Did he touch the ball?
No, it was his movement. It was his willingness to get the ball. Rooney was like hiding behind Coquelin. I don't know where Rooney was. He wasn't playing
Coquelin's
football.
pocket.
No, he wasn't. Leave it out.
You're
only saying that because it rhymes. You wouldn't say that.
He got cock blocked. Well, that's another thing I've told you about.
Leave it out. But I don't know why I invited you back in. Actually,
I don't know why.
The power of hindsight.
I'm trying to keep it down. I'm trying to be humble with it.
Nah, at the end,
but you know what? I've had pain inflicted on me over the years. I remember the 8-2. I suffered pain off that 8-2 for years. You know what I mean? I've suffered a lot of pain from Manchester United, and the last few games, we're starting to flip it round. We went to your place, remember, FA Cup, Danny Welbeck.
Wow, Valencia with the assist, that was
even, you know what, going back to the game on Sunday, right? Even when I look on it, I think to myself, I looked at last year's game. I said to myself, you know what, the only difference between last year, when you beat us at home, and this year, the way we started in both games, was the fact that last year we didn't take our chances. I remember Jack Wilshere had an easy chance. We blitzed you just the same. Wilshere had a simple chance and he missed it. And then you got that deflected goal, you got back into the game. Yeah. But we were all over you in that game as well.
No, it's the same thing in Sunday, man. Czech made some good saves. If Martial had scored that before half time.
We were 3-0 up at the time.
Yeah, you were 3-0 up at the time. And
I think if Martial would have scored that, we would have went, you know, in the second half, Giroud should have scored.
Yeah.
We hit the bar through Ox.
Right at the end.
You know, I think Ozil had an easy chance. We could have had about 6 in that game.
I didn't say that you wouldn't score
and
anymore.
That was with us taking our foot off the pedal because we've had times before, like Anderlecht, we're 3-0 up. I'm sure that was in their head and they just thought, listen, let's shut it down. They need to score 3 goals. We just want the 3 points. And as we were sort of discussing before the show started, it's always so painful when you got to go into an international break. 2 weeks of hurt, pain. That every day you wake up.
It sounds like you're jabbing me in the side.
Every Manchester United fan wakes up in the morning and just keeps thinking about Alexis Sanchez. Bang! Right into the corner.
That was a banging
goal. You got
goal.
that for 2 weeks. You can't even get it out of your system.
That was a banging goal. But what Arsenal did was you exposed what other teams haven't in the past 4 or 5 games, because United, if you ask fans one thing they're really annoyed about is under Fergie, we always came out of the blocks firing. We always put pressure straight on teams, and it didn't always inevitably lead to an early goal, but we scored a lot of early goals. That doesn't really happen anymore. So something that Van Gaal's doing is just so frustrating, is that United aren't starting games strong.
Yeah, I heard one of your fans saying that you've been getting off to like a really slow start in a lot of games. So I don't know, maybe we targeted that.
You did. You came out of the blocks firing, and we couldn't cope with it. And I think that's exactly why you came up and scored 3 goals in 20 minutes. By that point, game done. Game
over,
done.
man.
And
game over.
Fair play to you, man. It was a home game where...
No, it was an enjoyable game for me.
I wouldn't say enjoyable, not the term I would use. As I said before the game...
I loved it.
This was a match that had Arsenal have lost Olympiacos and then United at home into an international break, it would have been...
It'd have been horrible.
There would have been a bad... You would have got a lot of questions asked. There are a lot of questions being asked to United. Let's not downplay that. There are problems that we all know. But at the end of the day, we're even on points.
Yeah, you know what? Having said all that, we're both on the same amount of points. And the one thing I'd say is that I think the title race this year is wide open.
Yeah.
And anybody really can take it. I mean... I think it's going to be between the three teams. I think Chelsea are out of it now after the weekend.
Oh, poor Chelsea, eh?
Yeah, right.
That's one collective, collective moment of enjoyment there. Any Chelsea fans watching, just...
I think Chelsea, the fans are melting down, Mourinho's melting down. I think Chelsea are out of it. So I do think it's going to be against Man United, Manchester City and Arsenal. I think City are ahead at the moment because they've got a lot of quality players. But even with City, they lost 2 games on the trot, didn't they? Exactly. So, and we're more than capable of beating City as well. So, it's going to be a really...
I'm looking at this...
Really interesting season.
The season where Liverpool nearly won the league with Suarez, it was a perfect storm for Liverpool. Moyes was in, United were gone, Chelsea were not doing anything, Arsenal were at that time just being Arsenal, and Liverpool had everything at their disposal, and they mucked it up, being polite there. But I'm starting to potentially get the feeling that this might... I'm not sure whether it was Thierry Henry who said it, but he's looking at this season and saying, right, look at United. They're not looking completely consistent. Look at City. City are probably the biggest threat. Chelsea, out and away. Liverpool, they've got Klopp. Who knows what they're going to do? Well, they haven't got Klopp yet, but I think we can assume that they're going to get Klopp. This might be your time, and I hate to say that. I don't want to say that, but
listen,
it could be.
We've still got a lot of work to do. Arsenal need to be consistent. There's no point. Many of our fans pointed out at the weekend, even some of your fans, no point in beating Manchester United and then we go and lose stupid games. Yeah, we need to be consistent. We have to be fair. So far this season, it's only really the first game against West Ham that was a bad performance. Chelsea, I think the referee had a lot to say about that game, his performance that day. Yeah, but you were still poor. To be fair, yeah, but we had 10 men. But to be fair, I think we've performed pretty well so far in the league. We've had quite difficult games, and we've done all right. But it's all going to boil down to the team that shows the amount of consistency. Team that can go on a long winning run. They'll take it.
Well, Arsenal, you typically go on a good run.
Around February time. Still a bit upset that we didn't sign anybody in the summer.
That could be the thing. That haunts you.
I just still think to myself, if we'd have done that, we'd be looking a bit rosier. But listen, we haven't been beating teams like you for a while, and now we're starting to get that out of the way as well. We've beaten City recently, we've beaten Chelsea recently, we've beaten you now. So, we know we can beat. Those other teams up there with us. So, and we know we can beat those lesser teams because we've always been pretty good at doing that. Yeah. So why not? We got a chance.
I think we've all got a chance. United's record against top 6 in the past 2 years has actually been really, really good. I think it's probably been one of Van Gaal's strong points.
United, I think keeping De Gea gives United a massive chance as well. It's going to be really...
I genuinely think it's all going to boil down to injuries. If you take Alexis Sanchez out of your team, you're struggling. You take De Gea out of our team or take Martial out of our team, we're looking pretty weak as well. Every team's got a focal point. I think that's where City's strength comes in because they have got quite a lot of focal points. But anyway, let's not
take Rooney out. You might improve.
Oh God, please take Rooney. I don't want to hate on Rooney, but he just
stop hating on Rooney.
He forces me to do it, man. No, but when you wear the armband, you've got to perform. And end of story. You know you're going to get more pressure on you.
It's like kryptonite, that armband.
Yeah, well, it is for him. Everyone thought, Rooney...
Just removed his powers, man.
I don't know. Rooney's, as I think I said to you before the show as well, I don't like a complacent Rooney. A Rooney that feels he's guaranteed to start every week is got a cloud of protection.
I have got the solution for Manchester United.
Is this your philosophy? Do I want to hear this?
This is not a philosophy. This is the solution.
But do I want to hear this?
To make Manchester United successful again, man.
Do I want to hear this?
bring Fergie back.
Well, he's coming back to Old Trafford in November, to be fair, for a charity match. But stating the obvious, Jesus. On that bombshell, I think we'll finish for today. I said, congrats to...
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, congrats to Arsenal, man. Like that.
Respect for that.
That was a
Listen,
good performance, man.
I respect him for this. He didn't have to bring me back on.
I probably won't again.
I've got a lot of respect for you for that. You know what I mean?
We'll end it.
Doesn't mean I ain't going to keep giving it to you.
Well, that's right.
It doesn't mean that, but I respect you for that.
Well, let's see what happens when Old Trafford then.
Yeah.
Second and do you know when is that game? Do you know?
Next year sometime, man.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Long time to get your revenge.
So we'll see you in 2016. Yeah. Take it easy, guys.